Jay here, Full-Time Devils. This is...
Hi, Jay.
Hi, mate. You okay? This is the Chelsea preview. I almost got 5 seconds in without being interrupted by Stephen Howson. As you can see, that's Stephen Howson, that's Adam Mckola, that's John Shin, and this is the preview of Monday night's Chelsea game. The winter break is over, and United are back in action against a club that we've strangely got a pretty good record against under Ollie. It's just all the other teams we haven't got a good record against. And we've actually got a striker as well, a proper striker, not a false nine, not a converted winger, an actual out-and-out striker in Odion Ighalo. And as you may see, one person in particular is quite excited about that. Macca, looking forward to seeing your boy in action.
No, I just love this shirt. Yeah, I've got the new one on the way as well. We are all Odion Ighalo FC right here, ain't we? Because if we're not, we're fucking idiots. You know what, yeah? You know what? The fact that we've signed, you have to look at it two ways. The fact that we've signed Odion Ighalo is proof of how poor our recruitment has been over the last however many years, however far you want to go back. If you want to go back to 05, you want to go back to Ronaldo when he left, if you want to go back to when Fergie left, whatever, our recruitment hasn't been great. So as a result, there's the post. So as a result, United, because our signings haven't been great, we've been
Use your words.
We've been forced into this short-term signing, but nevertheless, we shouldn't be angry at Odion Ighalo for that. We shouldn't be angry at him for that. Now, we know that he's not the best striker in the world. We know that, calm down, Steve. I'm getting there. We know that, he's come from China. He's come from a league that's not the most competitive currently. But nevertheless, he's coming in at an age where he's 30 years old, turning to 31, still got good years ahead of him. He should still be in his peak years. He's scoring goals regularly. He's had experience in the Premier League, and he wants this move. It's for 6 months, not even that. Yes, we might end up signing him in a knee-jerk decision because he scores 5 goals and we end up signing him or whatever. But right now he's here, and let's just love him and let's just want him to do well. It's not his fault that he's signed in this position. And I think we can all see the circumstances in which he's signed haven't been the greatest, but also he's here now and he's one of us, and let's get behind him. And there's a point to say as well that you can't just not make a signing because your recruitment has been bad, so it'd look bad. Do you know what I mean? Ollie can't say, I can't bring in a striker for short term because it looks bad, that does. Ultimately, we need a striker. You've got to do what you've got to do. And if you need to bring one in for 6 months, so be it. And I think it's a decent choice. No one would have batted an eyelid if he went to Barcelona last summer or if he came to Spurs in January, which were both on the cards. No one would have batted an eyelid, and probably a lot of people would have said that's a shrewd move. But things change when it's Man United, don't they?
John, I mean, Mac is there, talked about, we have got this striker, maybe not the player we all wanted, but now he's here, get behind him. Do you think other players can benefit from having him in the team in terms of your Dan James, your Anthony Martials, your Brunos, for example, having that player that is a striker that is going to hopefully get on the end of them chances?
For sure. I mean, you look at players that off the bat, you look at players like Dan James in particular, is still very, very young. I'm not going to say Odion Ighalo is a world-class player that all players can sit down and benefit from, but just immediately off the pitch, you look at the way that we've been functioning. We've not been functioning with a 9. We've not been functioning with an out-and-out striker that's been able to get inside the one touch, one finish, the one shot, one goal. We've not had that kind of player for some time. And you could. Some people might say Lukaku might have been that type. Some people might say Zlatan would have been that type. But we've not had an out-and-out striker, and somebody like maybe Dan James in particular can benefit from that because it creates a different avenue of approach when we're attacking. You look at somebody like Martial, he's not going to bust his head and throw it in there and try and go for a hit. He's not going to go turning his ankle all over the place to look for a shot. That's not Anthony Martial's game. And Anthony Martial in particular as well. While we're in that topic, he's also not been doing well on an individual level. I think he always needs to sort of benefit off a partnership, and somebody like Ighalo, who can provide a different attacking approach, can definitely add more to Anthony Martial's game. And I'm not just referencing Anthony Martial and Daniel James. Everybody else in that team can benefit from somebody else like Odion Ighalo. And I'm not a businessman, but maybe if this is the right terminology, like maybe I can use the opportunity cost. Like I think Adam hit the definition spot on. Like Odion Ighalo isn't somebody that's gonna, leave a huge dent in the Manchester United transfer reserves. Odion Ighalo, it wasn't a signing that was that much of a risk. So let's say even if we're going against Chelsea and we do see him feature, or even if we don't see him feature, we're not really losing much from that. I think there's only a bigger opportunity to gain from somebody like Odion Ighalo, who from what I've seen so far looks to be a fantastic individual. To be quite honest with you, I've not really looked too much into Odion Ighalo just because, but just hearing him, just talking to him, it could only benefit us. And if he doesn't do well, then so be it. I think we've put ourselves in this situation. Again, Adam made a great point there. Our transfer business, our recruitment system has been completely awful, and the fact that we've had to resort to a last minute, a short-term signing like Odion Ighalo from China just kind of goes to show you, where we've been. But we can only benefit from somebody like him.
Yeah, I mean, you can still think the recruitment policy isn't good enough and get behind a player that's signed for Manchester United, especially one like Ighalo, who's obviously a big United fan. He's keen on the move. There's talk that he took a bit of a pay cut to come here. Steve, where do you stand on it? Do you think we sort of need to temper our expectations a little bit? Because, yes, he scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, but that was quite a while ago. And he had a bit of a barren spell last time he was here as well.
I don't know what the reasons for, I think it was 1 in 18, 1 in 16, something like that in his final season. I believe there's some element of him spitting his dummy out. I don't know enough to really comment on that, but I think the chances of him spitting his dummy out in this next 4 months are pretty low, I would have to say. And if he's in the right sort of mind frame, then I think he's going to score goals. He scored goals at AFCON, which obviously is a much higher level, I assume. I'm certainly no expert on the Chinese Super League, but I would assume that's a bit of a higher level than it is over in China. I don't know what the level of the team he's playing in is. I don't know what the level of the league that he's playing in is. So maybe it's unfair to even look at the numbers that he put up there, and maybe international football gives us a better idea. I mean, I know that he's scored more than what Mane and Salah have done in the AFCON, so I think that's something that we can probably take a little bit of positivity from. He obviously wants to be here. He's clearly in fantastic nick. So if nothing else, the fact that he's going to be an extra body that does have Premier League experience in the starting 11 or even coming off the bench, that's a massive bonus for me. So many times we've seen Ole Gunnar Solskjaer chasing a goal, or even just with an exhausted team, look to his right and just be like, I guess I'll bring Juan Mata on. Juan Mata's never changed the game in his life. That's not what he does. He starts games and impacts games. He's never been someone to change the tempo of a game, certainly in an upward trajectory at least. Anyway, I think that the fact that he's here and he wants to be here, he's literally better than no one, and that is what it is at the moment. We don't know what level of quality he is, but he is better than no one, and he's going to be... You're going to need to peel him off the ceiling of the dressing room. He's going to be that excited ahead of playing Chelsea.
Mac, has your cat got anything to add to this?
Mate, I don't know what's going on. If I don't stroke him, he headbutts me, the bastard.
Cats are lethal, man, but the race. As I mentioned earlier, that everyone got a bit deflated about, we have got a good record against Chelsea. Sorry to jinx it, but I think it's 3 wins out of 4 and a draw, which, if you go back in recent history, I think that's our best record for 9 years against Chelsea. When you look at it as well, 2 away wins at Stamford Bridge, the 4-0 on the opening day, although that did flatter us a little bit. Going into this game, do you think you take positives from that if you're a United player? As a fan, you take positives from that? The fact we've got this good record, I think that's something that gives us a little bit of a boost going into this, Maka.
Yeah, it would do, wouldn't it? But these records always worry me. You know, when pundits or whoever, or you read in the programme, or United haven't lost against this team in this much time, and I hate when all them records come out because it just means they're about to be broken. And it's, yeah, I just hate them coming up. But realistically, when you look at it, Oli has got a good record against Lampard. Maybe there's something in the way they work tactically that, Oli is just going to keep getting the better of him. But Frank Lampard will change things up. And I think when you look at United and you look at Chelsea, yes, there's many similarities, but there's also many differences in the facts that Lampard has a little bit more at his disposal in terms of what he can do tactically, especially when you look at that midfield area. So Chelsea, you kind of know how United are going to set up going into this game. With Chelsea, they have the ability to possibly spring a surprise, change things around, do things a little bit differently. And that's why I find it bizarre, the way Lampard's been spoken about. And when you look at that Chelsea team, that midfield, United could take any two of those and they'd improve our midfield straight away. And they have got some decent players and positions. You often hear about, they've got a young team. Tammy Abraham's same age as Rashford and all that. And the only one that's really that young, I think, is Reece James and Tomori, who are obviously fantastic talents. But yeah, I think it's a good thing, but it doesn't mean we're going to win at all. But it does give me a little bit of confidence going into the game. I don't think Chelsea are that same team as they have been, especially under Lampard. I feel like you can always get at them and you can always go there and get a result. We've seen that a few times this season.
Yeah. Howson, how do you look at it? Do you look at it as luck or design that we've got this good record against Chelsea? Do you think they do suit us, like Macca alluded to, or do you think it's just been a case of, individual performances have raised it a little bit?
Teams that attack us play to our strengths, I think. And I hate the dismissive nature of all we do is counter-attack. All right, cool. Well, why doesn't everyone else just do that? If it was that fucking simple, why doesn't everybody else have the same record that we do against the top six? And that is probably the primary reason why I think Ollie deserves the patience and time in this job. I think it's easier to have a better record against the shit teams than it is the top teams. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but some people are right now writing comments that disagree with that.
Obviously.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, because that's the internet. I think the fact that you can get it right against the good teams, that to me reflects more on the manager than the results against the so-called smaller teams. I think the arguments about patterns of play and stuff like that are probably valid, but you've also got to question the personnel that are executing these patterns of play. United are getting into some good areas. We're having shots. We're doing the sort of things where we dominate games, but the execution of, I'm going to say, Andreas Pereira in the final third might be limiting how many games that we win. If we'd have had Paul Pogba available for those, if we'd have had Tony Marshall available at times when Rashford was leading the line on his own, would some of those draws be wins and some of those losses draws or wins? I think yes. It doesn't excuse the fact that we've lost against some of the shit teams, but let's not pretend we've never lost against shit teams before. It happens. The whole idea is to be consistent and limit how often that happens and try and obviously win far, far more than you lose. Our record's not great at the moment. I think the way United set up against Chelsea and the way Chelsea like to play us has really benefited how we've done. I thought we were excellent in the first game of the season where we beat them 4-0 and everyone was like, oh, robbery. Well, expected goals still shows it probably should have been a 2-1 win for United. So, robbery, no. Probably not 4-0. You what?
You've gone full Dave there, mate.
Well, expected goals literally just measures the quality of chances. Sometimes you score a lower quality chance. Maybe the keeper should have done fucking better against them lower quality chances.
But also, you could get 10 chances that are rated 0.3, and I can have one chance that's rated 1, and those stats will be wrong.
Well, they're not, are they? They're literally a measure of how frequent people score from those areas.
Chances that are 0.3 on the expected goals, yeah, let's say, and you have 10 of those, the stat would show you've got a 3.0 expected goals ratio, right? Well, that's bollocks.
Well, it's not, because it's literally that.
It is.
It's not, because it's showing 30% of the time. If it's 0.3, 30% of the shots taken from that area have resulted in goals. It's not bollocks, it's just maths.
So if you have... Nah, that's bollocks.
No, it's maths.
Bollocks.
John.
Actually maths.
John.
I don't know what about here, but it's bollocks. I don't know how to explain it, but I know what I mean.
John.
Bollocks, don't trust me.
It's not, because literally every shot has ever been calculated.
A 0.3 chance isn't really a chance, is it?
Yeah.
It's not
because
really.
It's literally saying
It's like,
0.3% of the time, or 0.3 of them.
Let me just. So a 0.3 chance could be when Andreas Pereira picks the ball up 20 yards out and has a little shot and there's a little bit of space in front of him, yeah?
No, that would be 0.03.
But no, let me just exaggerate a point to make a point. So if he gets that chance 10 times and we've got an expected goals of 3.0, there was no way we were ever expected to score 3 goals in that game.
Right. I'm going to pull up 0.3. 0.3 is a pretty good chance. Right? A pretty good chance. Where Andreas is shooting from is 0.03 or 0.02, which means it's got a 2 or 3% chance, which means if he has 10 of them, you've still not even had a full chance. It's literally maths.
Know that. But I'm just saying that having 10 chances at whatever, and then at the end, and that one team's had 2 chances that are 1. They've had better chances than you, bro.
Well, it literally measures the quality of the chances.
Let me tell you a secret.
A game here. Right, against Wolves, just going to see what were a good chance.
You can't start all this shit and then say fuck stats. Because you know he's not going to. So
in the 93rd minute, right, the one that he missed just on the edge of the 6-yard box, that was only a 0.35. So that was only 1/3 of a chance going in. Harry Maguire's from a set piece in the 86th minute, that was a 0.1. So that's only a 10% chance. Let's find one of the stupid shots.
So wait, Steve. So now, by my calculations, we've had a 0.5. With both of them, that's 0.5, yeah? But that was never half a chance. That was just
one chance on the edge of the 6-yard box and one inside the 6-yard box. That's half a chance, mate.
Sorry, I thought you said the first one was outside the box. Sorry.
No, inside the 6-yard box and outside the 6-yard box. Bruno Fernandez's that he missed, the one that just went wide.
That was a big chance. Should have scored that.
Was 0.05% chance. Do you see what I mean? It's literally maths, mate.
John, go and get the guitar, son. Come on. Let's have a sing-song. Strangely enough, this week, Mauricio Pochettino has been linked with Manchester United. Can you believe it? Because apparently he was stood near Neil Ashton at a game. I know we ask this every week, but every week it comes up. Do you think this game can help Ole in terms of his long-term future, John? If he gets a win, do these Pochettino rumours quieten down a bit?
I don't really think so. I think the season has already gone too far. I mean, even if he starts lose, I think people who are already Ole in are Ole in. People who are Ole out are Ole out. I think the opinions have already sort of stuck in for the rest of the season. I think we're probably just going to ride that out. With respect to Pochettino, the rumors building in, I don't know if it's the Man United PR team sort of laying down the foundations with, Pochettino being pictured with Neil Ashton, the PR guy now. I don't know what the situation is, but none of that should be of concern to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Whether or not he's going to lose his job, whether or not he's going to keep his job, I think the main focus and the main concern is what's in front of him, which is Chelsea. And before we went on this whole expected goals chat, we were talking about the track record against Chelsea in particular. And I think I'd like to think that it does benefit us, especially if you're a team going into a match that you've been, coming out victorious for, more oftentimes than not. I think it could be beneficial, but, it could also be detrimental. Depends on the situation, depends on the scenario. If you're a team if you're a team like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team that's been so inconsistent throughout times of the season, but at the same time shown glimpses of, good quality, but at the same time shown absolute trashness, it could benefit you because you're going to want to come out victorious. But let's say the media's been building up all this hype about Manchester United being, having a good track record against Chelsea, and then they get smacked. It's only going to add. It's going to say, oh, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can't get record anymore. Like, can't get a result against a team that's been beaten 3 out of 4 times. Like, it can be used in either way. So it could be beneficial, but at the same time, I don't really see it being a major sort of difference maker. Especially if you're playing against teams in the top 6.
Good stuff. We're going to take a short break and then we're going to be coming back with everyone's predicted 11s. It's predicted 11 times. We're going to start with John. John, who's going to start against Chelsea and why?
I went with David De Gea in goal. I have a back 5. I've went Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams as my wing backs, and I have went Lindelof, Maguire, and Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw tucking in behind Brandon Williams is pretty interesting. I don't really see it being the most ideal in my personal opinion, but that's just what we can do as of now. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. I'm going to go with Fred and Matic sitting in between those two as the midfielders. And I got Bruno Fernandes sitting in that pocket as the 10. And I think we're going to probably see Odion Igalo start. So I'm going to go Igalo up top with Martial on the left.
Sounds
like a two-prong attack.
Sounds good. Howson, I'll come to you. Who's your starting 11 and why?
4-3-3, hopefully.
Oh.
Not extremely confident it will be, but that's what I'm hoping for. Still the same sort of struggles picking the forward lineup. And not because we've got an absolute pantheon of legends that are in form and fit to pick from, more because of the opposite. So De Gea in net, Wan-Bissaka and Williams as fullbacks, Lindelof and Maguire together in the middle. Midfield three of Matic, Holding and Fred with Bruno alongside him. And then really struggled for the right wing spot. I've wrote down Greenwood, but I'm expecting someone like Pereira or Lingard. Martial in the middle, James on the left, and that isn't good enough, I don't think. But that is what I think it's going to be. I did put Igalo down. I mean, literally wrote him down and then scrubbed him out because I was like, he ain't trained with him. He's not going to start him. He's clearly going to start the lads that have been away all week working together over a guy like, hi, everyone. Everyone, this is Odion. Odion, this is everyone. All right, get a kit on you starting up front. That's a bit mad, isn't it? That is a bit mad. So I don't think that's going to happen.
This is Odion. He's been in quarantine for 2 weeks, and now he's going to start for us. Off you go, son.
Steve, but don't you think it'd be interesting if he does start, though? Because I think it'll be sending out a huge message to somebody like...
you don't have a fucking clue what he's doing. Yeah. Like, nothing like testing it in a real world environment, is it? Let's see what happens, lads. I mean, yeah, it's a great surprise. They don't know what he's going to do because we don't know what he's going to do.
He's going to get through the first game on adrenaline alone.
He might do, yeah, but you still kind of need, like, do you know, like when they're coming on as a sub and they have to flick through the little book. He's literally going to be having one tucked down the back of his shorts, so he has any idea about what's going on. Back from Spain, is it today?
Yes, I think so. This is Friday as we're recording. I think they are back today.
In theory, he might get Saturday, Sunday to train with them. If he gets Saturday, Sunday and he's allowed out of quarantine to train with them. And can I just ask, why is he out of quarantine but training at a Taekwondo centre down the road?
Because no one cares about those Taekwondo kids.
Great. People are dickheads. Journalists are knobheads. It's common restrictions on everybody travelling from that part of the world that you've got to be like, why are they acting like, he can't go to Carrington? And then United fans are like, oh my God, for fuck's sake, typical United. It's like...
No, you get the wrong end of what I'm saying here.
I'm not about you. Yeah. I'm on about what I see on the internet about it. It's fucking ridiculous.
But how can you be quarantined but not quarantined?
I get where you're coming from, Alison. You're saying, like, he's obviously mingling with people, isn't he? He's not on his own completely. There's probably children in the next room or coaches running around or cleaning staff or whatever.
There's about 50 people in that gym.
Well, did you hear about the one in London that had the symptoms and caught an Uber to the fucking hospital?
He could have got the tube. He did everyone a favour.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh.
On the tube.
Don't mind me, I've just got that virus.
Anyway, so I think it'd be crazy if he played him, but I think Greenwood, Marshall, James probably start. You can bring him on for half an hour and just run around like a knobhead. And I think that's probably a bit better. But if he gets 2 days of full training with the lads, you never know. He might try. And I'd love to see him start, but I don't know when they're back from Spain. And if he's in quarantine, I don't know. He might, while everyone's doing tactics for Chelsea, he might be doing fucking roundhouse kicks in that gym. So,
yes. Get stuck into the fucking pensioners. Macca, your 11, mate, and why?
Oh, yeah, that's what part of the show we're on.
Mate, how long have you been doing this for?
We might go 3-4-1-2 again. And it might be something we do while Daniel James... Obviously, we've had this break now, so hoping players come back refreshed and stuff. But Danny James looked quite fatigued earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Just before the break. We've obviously lost Rashford, so we didn't have really any balance out wide. Maybe going with a 3-4-1-2, Bruno Fernandes in the hole. Once Igalo's up to speed, Martial and Igalo up top. That could possibly be something that works. this time around, I'd go with obviously David De Gea in goal, 3 centre-backs, Maguire, Lindelof, Axel Tuanzebe. Hopefully he's back. He's been trained. Actually, he's not going to start, Axel. He's just come back to working on the grass, isn't he? So, Lindelof, Maguire. Who's our other centre-halves?
Phil Jones.
Marcus. Oh, fucking hell. Yep, Phil Jones,
Let's
enjoy
not-
that.
Let's not start the whole Rojo thing
We'll
again.
probably go with Luke Shaw as the 3rd centre-half again.
What about Eric Bailly?
Eric
Yeah.
Bailly.
I don't know why he don't play. I don't get it. He's obviously chosen to go with, unless it's been like a thing where let's get you ready during that and I'll bring you in after. There's no need to rush it. You know, it's not like we're fighting for the Premier League title or anything. Sorry to surprise you boys.
Maybe. You never know if Liverpool lose every single game.
The thing is, I think they could lose every single game and City wouldn't even catch them.
No, you're right.
So I got up to, so the defence, the 4 in front of the defence would be Wan-Bissaka, Fred, Matic, and Brandon. Bruno in behind Martial and Mason.
Was your third centre back then? Did you settle on Luke Shaw? Sorry, I wasn't sure whether you were.
Luke Shaw.
Yeah, sound. Right, the opposition, Chelsea. Is it 6 points between us and them? But like the narrative's very different in it. It's Lampard's doing amazing things with this young team, whilst Ollie's stumbling towards oblivion.
The young, the midfield of Jorginho and Kante and all that.
Exactly. You know. Go on, Macro. I'll start with you. What do you make of Chelsea?
I don't think very highly of Frank Lampard, to be totally honest with you. Obviously, like you said, the pressure's off him at the moment because they haven't had a transfer window. And, you know, when you're sitting in the top 4, it kind of like, I think if Ollie was in the top 4 where Chelsea is, there'd still be a lot of talk surrounding his job because we're Man United. But I think the pressure would be off him a little bit more. That's not to say it would be off him completely because I'm not that stupid. But I feel like Lampard's side have kind of benefited from the fact that no one's really wanted to take a top 4 spot. And I think he should be doing a lot more with that team, really, when you look at it.
I agree.
But nevertheless, they do have some quality players. Tammy Abraham, I don't think he's the greatest centre-half, and centre-forward, and he scores goals usually against the poorer sides in the league. But having said that, now he's probably going to go and score against us. But Tammy Abraham, he doesn't strike fear. When you think of Chelsea centre forwards down the years, they probably say the same about Manchester United as well. So, you know, that's fine. But when you think of Chelsea centre forwards down the years, Tammy Abraham ain't up there. I don't even think he's up there with Giroud. Never mind Costa and Drogba and all those kind of guys. I don't think he's up there. But so he's up top. Mason Mount probably going to score again. But I don't see the big deal in him. Really don't. He's going to start for England this summer while Jack Grealish is on holiday and that. Don't get it. Gives us time to get the deal done, but I just don't get it. Look, they're a decent team. They'll get top 4, but I'm not as taken away by Frank Lampard as some people like to make out.
No, I'm with you. John, it looks like Kepa could come back. He's had his issues. Do you think that could be an advantage for us, the sort of goalkeeping problems that Chelsea have had?
Not necessarily. I think Steve mentioned this early on in the show. He mentioned about counterattacking. I think the reason why we do so well against a team like Chelsea is, I think if you want to put it nicely, I think they're free flowing. If you want to put it, a little bit more in a level of criticism, I think they're a bit more free. They're a little bit more exposed at times, and I think one of the reasons why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been able to get good results off of Chelsea in particular is the opportunity to expose all those open spaces, if you will. And of course, we're a young squad and they're a young squad, but I think the reason why they've been able to sort of one-up us, especially in the league, is because of the versatility, the level of quality, and the opportunities to be able to shuffle things around in that squad. But with that being said, I don't think they have that much to be able to trouble us individually, as ironic as it sounds. I think we have the quality to be able to get a result, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer also will be able to get one off of Lampard. He's a good guy. I think he has what it takes to take Chelsea forward. Sure, He definitely deserves another season or whatever. Or if he's in the same situation as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is he Lampard in or Lampard out? But he definitely, has proved to the fans that he can take them forward. So it'll be interesting to see how they go on going forward. But other than that, I think with respect to this game, I think Manchester United, we have what it takes to get something off of these guys.
Steve, I mean, Lampard's lost 8 games this season in the league, so he's not had it all his own way. Do you think he does get a bit more credit than he deserves, or do you think Chelsea have sort of done quite well considering they did have the transfer ban, they did lose Hazard and all that other stuff?
London-based teams get absolutely piped off to another level that I've never seen. It's the whole reason that this whole myth of Poch being amazing exists. Can I just talk about the fact that Liverpool are probably going to win the league? And if you believe in God, right? If you believe in God, you've got to see the evidence in front of your eyes that God doesn't want Liverpool to win the league. He set Australia on fire, right? For starters.
Okay.
The coronavirus, World War III nearly happening. We are only halfway through February of 2020, and that's just 3 of the things that's happened, right? How bad's it going to get? What I think we need to do is close the league down, right? Call it just wipe it.
A draw for everyone.
Yeah, we'll call it a draw. Everyone won it this
Give
year.
Liverpool a 5-point start and then end at the start of next season. That's fair.
Do you know what? That's so gracious of you, Adam.
Yeah, five
I can't be
points
like
about,
that, mate.
about right.
So gracious of you. We'll start again in August. We'll get the Euros out of the way. Let everyone have a nice rest. Everyone enjoyed the winter break. Well, let's have a whole spring break, right? We'll see you all in the summer and call it a winner. All right? Can we do that?
If only we could, my friend. Did you even talk about Chelsea then? Oh yeah, you said London teams get pipes off. Right. John, what's the score going to be?
I think we're going to go 2-1. I was thinking 1-1 at the start, but I think we have what it takes. I think we'll go 2-1.
Yes, I agree. Steve, what are you going to say?
I think 2-1 United's a doable one as well. I really do. Bruno and Igalo. Let's have our new shiny things go and score.
Why not? We're all going for 2-1, Macca, or you've got something different?
I was going to say 2-2,
Desmond. 2-2. Well, I think, to be honest with you, I know it sounds a bit negative, and I'd say that. Anyway, John, where can people find you?
You guys can come follow me on Twitter, Mr. John Shin. You know what it is.
The only John Shin that matters. Hey, do you know what I mean? I know no one's going to follow you when you go, you can find me on Twitter.
You know what it is?
Hey, fuck you know.
Early,
He nearly killed himself the other day.
Have you been having a police round to your house again because of excessive celebrating?
Nah.
I
I haven't celebrated like that in a while.
All right, good stuff. Howson, where can people find you? Just name the top 3 channels if you can keep it down.
Come and see what we're up to on Stretford Pad. There's all sorts going off on there. So come and join in. The fun.
And Macca, you'll be over at Stamford Bridge for the game. Getting all the reaction after that.
Views outside as you do.
Obviously, man, it's tradition. Do you know what I mean? That's been Adam Mckola, that's been John Shin, that's been Stephen Howson, I've been Jay. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. This has been a Full Time Devils Chelsea preview. Thanks for watching.